mud flaps still intact, still in position. Looks like they stopped a lot of debris going up the body. But nonetheless, we're still getting tagged a little bit here on the mirror, on the lower side, and definitely in the back. Let's take a look at some DIY mud flaps for the new Bronco. Headed up to the shop right now and get the heater going. It is freezing cold. I gotta get a sweatshirt on. But I've started laying out the beginnings of what I'm trying to accomplish here. So starting with a 4-inch wide piece of scrap metal, this is what I'm gonna come up with. Yeah, so the idea here is starting from, inside of the Bronco at the bracket, essentially the intrusion bar bracket is 2 inches, so half the width of this, and then we'll plug in wherever the holes are. So here we go. Just took that 4-inch piece of flat and then holy cow, yeah. Lightweight, strong, that's what this brake does. Just gives it a lot of strength. All right, so this is the driver's side. And this is just, a rough fit on how it's gonna look and how it's gonna fit in there. But yeah, I think that's going to work out pretty well. I'll be able to mount the mud flap to that directly. And, park it wherever we choose as far as width goes. But essentially, that is the plan. All right, so while these two brackets here would work just fine, I have decided to go ahead and refine the design just a little bit. So I'll keep these for something else. So instead of being 90 degrees on a 2-inch wide piece of flat stock, we're gonna go 90 degrees, but we're gonna put it right at about 1 inch from what would be the forward or leading edge. So we're gonna weld this in position on both sides, and then we'll clean up that sharp edge and make it aesthetically look good. But this will be what we're looking to do. Boom, very similar, pretty good. This one's just a little bit heavier duty, and the offset that we're providing here is going to eliminate the need for any type of spacer, which is where I was headed, and just literally decided, nope, I'm gonna go ahead and just take a few minutes, cut some flat stock, throw a couple welds on this bad boy, clean it up a little bit, and then boom, we're already ahead of the original design. Well, I don't know about you, but sometimes you come up with a good idea, you draw it out on paper, you get some cardboard, you make some templates, everything's going pretty well, and then for some reason, you just decide that you get a better idea, or in fact, you do get a better idea in the middle of making something. That's what's happened here. Not a big deal. We're just gonna pivot, shift gears, and continue moving forward to get these brackets done, to get some mud flaps on the new Bronco. And some people might think like, oh my gosh, all this work, I can't believe all this work is down the tubes. It's not down the tubes. It's a learning experience, and you're going to be able to use things like this later on, or at least I will. Not a big deal. So sometimes along the way, the best laid plans just turn out not to be so good, or we just need to make some adjustments. And in this case, I do believe this is a better design. I believe that short-term, long-term, this is going to be a better design. It's obviously going to be stronger. We've got a little bit thicker metal, and a little bit extra work here is going to be less work later on, because we're not having to put spacers in between the bracket and the mud flap. Mud flap's going to get mounted directly to this flat piece. So once we get these things welded up, we're going to test fit them. All right, so we got the 110 out, and I'm going to have to change wire. Yes, inner shield. And while I change this wire and tip over to gas, that'd be a good time to hit that subscribe button. If you're interested in some DIY projects concerning your vehicles or your shop. All right, so we'll throw a couple tacks on here. Let's take this thing over and make sure it's going to work. Yeah, looks good for my house. And there it is. And we'll cut the length once we get that all figured out. Just fine. Oh yeah, looks good. Very nice. Yeah, so we'll just clean those things up and trim that off. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and round everything off. This is just a rough once we get everything lined out. But there's one. Cool, so it's tack welded, everything looks good, we're ready to burn it in. You'll notice the sound on this weld, it's going to sound a bit better. It's actually going to sound more like it should. Went ahead and bumped up the wire speed. All right, looks good, let's burn it in. Heat. Can't beat the heat, baby. Cool. That'll be easy to clean up. Just some of these little boogers on there. I didn't spray any treatment on the metal beforehand, but yeah, that looks good. All right, there you have it. So both sides. The opposite. So if you are the front of the vehicle, this is how they will. If you're the front of the vehicle, this is how they'll go. Let's go see what they look like. All right, right there. And then we'll just check the end, see what that distance looks like. So the flap's gonna go actually in between the inner fender well and the bracket, so that the bracket isn't seen from the outside of the vehicle. Cool, so we will drill some holes. And we're going to either stainless steel or black rivets. And so this will be, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. And then I'll have 2 additional holes here, so that on the driver side, we will attach. What we're gonna do is, we're gonna cut this bracket. Right, so just finished with these 2. So these are 1 3/4 by 8 inch, and these are gonna attach to the mud flap. And then the mud flap and the bracket are going to attach to the bracket that's on the vehicle. Voila. So we'll cut this bracket by 3.5. Right. Shorten it up. Cool. So we're drilled out for the mock-up, and we'll just use some palm rivets, and we'll just see how everything works. And these are good for securing most of the time. That one broke. Cool. So temporarily, just pop those in there, trim those off. I'm gonna drive this around and see if this thing's gonna work good. All right, let's get the bracket mounted up and let's finish this thing off. All right, let's put the bracket on. And then we'll put the flap on. So the bolts that go through there, you can do whatever you'd like, but the size is M12 by 175, and these are actually 3 1/4. 3-inch bolts will work. 3 1/4 gives me a little bit more space. Again, this is temporary mock-up, and I just want to be sure that everything's going to work. But the anti-intrusion bar bolt that you remove is a M12x1.75, and I'm replacing it with a full-length M12x1.75 by 3 1/4. So here's our bracket. All right, well, as you can see, I'm fighting that a little bit. So, and it's because I'm running just a 3/8 drive, 3/8 Allen. So I'll switch over to a 3/8 Allen ball tip and see if that'll work a little bit better for that back. And of course it does. It gives us the access that we need. That's all we needed. Cool. So for the first side, I'll end up getting a couple of shorter bolts, and I'll throw the measurements of all of this stuff in the description. But yeah, that's going to be it in a nutshell. Alright, so there it is. There's the bracket, and then the attaching bracket to there. So let's take a look. Yeah, I think that's going to work just fine. So I'll get the other side mounted up, and then we'll take it for a spin. I don't know, run it for a week or a day. I'll just take it out into the mud and let it sling and see how it holds up. If everything looks good, I'll take it back apart and get those pieces powder coated, and then I'll go ahead and bolt the mud flap to the bracket. Yeah, let me know what you think. Yeah, and some folks might say like, hey, that's not low enough, but I think it's going to be just fine. Subtle. Yeah, not bad. Yeah, once those brackets are black, they'll blend right in. There it is, mud flaps for the 2022 Bronco Outer Banks to fill the gap in between the step and the fender flare. I think it looks pretty good. Let me know what you think. I'll spend a little bit of time putting those mud flaps through the paces, see if we need to make any adjustments dimensionally or otherwise, or even material, because this is lightweight stuff. So we'll see how it goes. We've got a snowstorm coming in and brewing, so put some moisture on the ground. We'll go hit some mud and rocks, send it, and see what happens. Thanks for watching. Stick around.